So here we go, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Meet the Oppo, the show where I bring you the lowdown on town's next opponent. And today I'm joined by Joel Shooter, the man who produced the podcast for the Shrimps Trust. My friend, it's always a pleasure. How's things?
All good. Cheers, mate. Thank you. And thanks for having me on.
Yes, my friend, it's always a pleasure. Always great to talk about Morecambe. I've enjoyed my trips to Morecambe, seeing the Morecambe Wise statue and the little trip down there, some nice fish and chips. But you guys are heading down to Portman Road on a Tuesday night. Salute to all your fans coming down. Let's recap Morecambe then. 21st in League One. How would you recap the last few months? Currently unbeaten in 3 games, even though you haven't had a game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're unbeaten in 2023, so we're popping up on all those little graphics you see on Twitter, and it's like, shh, don't tell them that we've only played 2 games. But yeah, I mean, I think I personally see the reverse fixture as what felt like a bit of a turning point. I remember going into it, and we had a few injuries, and then I looked at the team sheet, and we had a couple more injuries, and I was like, oh my god, that hadn't been anticipated. That we're going to last minute injuries. And then I was, going expecting the worst, and we played really, really well, and we deserved a point, and we should have had a point really, if it wasn't for a slightly dubious decision from the Lions person on the in that game for Connolly's wrongly disallowed goal. But it is what it is, and I think from then, especially at home, I'm sure only Ipswich fans who were there will remember we did play with a level of intensity. I think that we hadn't really managed that much before in this season, and we did have a level of intensity, and we made it a really, really tough game for Ipswich. I mean, at the end of the day, there were moments where Ipswich's quality shone through. I think I remember at the beginning of the second half, you see the quality shine through, but we made it a really tough game, and there have been ups and downs. There have been some bad performances since then, but I kind of feel since then things have been a little bit better. I think there's been a bit more belief that we have got a bit about us as a side, and in this past month, obviously, we've seen things come together, putting a few more things together in the final third, showing a bit of quality to get those wins, and we've done it at a really vital time. Obviously, the first win in ages was against who was it against? It was at Accrington on the 29th of December, and I remember a big problem this season is I think we dropped like 16 points from winning positions or something crazy like that. So what we were doing is we were quite often getting a goal ahead, as we did against Ipswich, and then not really managing, either not really killing off the game with a second goal or not managing that lead particularly well. But what we did against Accrington is we did get that second goal in quite quick succession before half time. And then that just gave the team a bit of a boost for the second half. Obviously, Accrington, they're not the level of opposition that Ipswich are, but they're still, they like to get forward. Accrington, they're still a team you got to defend. You got to beat what's in front of you. And we did that. And it just seems since then there's just been this level of confidence, that ability to know that, yeah, we do have the ability to get more than one goal, I think we've only done it a couple of times this season before now. And, there is that ability that we've got the players to make a difference in the final third. And then on the flip side of things, there is a bit more surety in our defending. But since we've had this little mini winning run, we're yet to face a side like Ipswich and away from home as well, where our record hasn't been as good. So we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully we can replicate our kind of form from these last few games against a side like Ipswich.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, away record isn't great. 1 win, 4 draws, 7 defeats, but sometimes it doesn't matter. But yeah, 5-0 win to start the year with a bang against Burton Albion, of course, a fellow bottom of the table side, but 21st in the league at the moment. What is the current mood then with the fans and Derek Adams? What's he saying going into the last few weeks? Of course, it's been a frustrating few weeks, I'm sure, because of frozen pitches and stands being not able to be used because of being too, at Cambridge, I think was the damage to a stand, which is I don't know. Anyway, we won't get into that. But yeah, what's the current mood with fans?
I know, your best pals Cambridge, they very fortunately had their stand in not good nick because they're in rancid form at the moment, and we're in good form. And as we saw, they lost 5-1 to Shrewsbury last weekend. So yeah, shame we didn't get to play them, but. I think the mood is generally very, very good. A bit frustrated because I think Cambridge and Port Vale were opportunities to carry on that good run of form, and especially in comparison to Ipswich away. I don't think it's disrespectful to Cambridge or Port Vale to say that Ipswich away is harder than those two games. It's a statement of fact. And yeah, I think the mood is still very good, though. There was a lot of frustration. I mean, I think we ended up bottom after Boxing Day, after a bit of a frustrating 1-0 defeat away at Port Vale. And yeah, I think that there was a really bad mood after that, I'll be honest. And people were turning on Derek quite a bit. Part of that was because he came out in an interview after the Port Vale game and stated that it was a really good performance and he's very happy with it. I felt he had a point for the first 60 minutes, but a lot of fans obviously have gone away to Port Vale and Boxing Day. It was a pretty drab game. I think we did edge it for about 60 minutes. We got a bit unfortunate with how we conceded, but football is an emotional game and fans are reacting angrily. But obviously Derek's seen something in the Port Vale performance and he's tweaked it a little bit. And I think there was a couple of things. There was moving a player into another position, and he seemed to settle quite nicely into there, having slightly more attacking wing backs. We've switched things around. We've gone to a 3-5-2 instead of a 3-4-3, having that, and that's just worked out really nicely. So he's seen something in it, made a couple of changes. Got, in fairness, we played some easier teams in Accrington and Burton, but at the end of the day, now Derek is once again the messiah among the fan base.
Yeah, indeed. I know you're only beating the likes of the Burton, Cheltenham, and who's the other team? Accrington, of course, of the Wales. Yeah. But you got to beat those teams. They're down there. They're teams you don't want to drop points against. So they're perfect sort of wins. It's been
our issue all season. I think we've had we had a nice run of fixtures around October, and we were rubbish. we did not take advantage of them. I think we managed that win against Forest Green, but we didn't take advantage of those games, and I think that's what we have done. And at the end of the day, as fun and nice as it is beating an Ipswich or beating a Derby or beating a Sheffield Wednesday, etc., at the end of the day, it's the wins against the teams that are around us that are probably going to make the most difference. It's stopping them getting points. It's getting us points to climb over them. And yeah, they're the games that are more important that we win come the end of the season. So really good to get those points on the board against those sides.
Indeed, my friend. Well, let's talk about the team then. You said a change of system, as you said, 3-5-2. Let's look at the last 11 against Cheltenham, which was a couple of weeks ago now. And there's one name in this list who won't be available, and he's gone back to Huddersfield on loan, or back from his loan spell because of that injury. Phillips, how big of a blow is that?
Yeah, it is a big blow. He's done really well this season, Kieran Phillips. I think when he first arrived, he hit some really good form, got a few goals in his first few games, got the only goal against Barnsley for our second win of the season. I think that was all the way back in October. So yeah, it's a big miss, and he's a really good all-round striker, to be honest. I think probably his strongest at kind of running in behind and stretching defences, and he has a really good knack for popping up in the right place. At the same time, he's quite a skinny lad. He's not a bulky Cole Stockton, but that said, he gets stuck in. He can kind of give a bit of a tussle to defenders and kind of bring others into play. His link play is quite nice. He's good at coming short. He can come short and receive the ball to feet. Gets on the end of crosses. Good runs in behind. He's a really well-rounded striker. So we are going to miss him, and not just goals. He chipped in with a few assists, and he helped link up play. So it's a real shame to miss him. I think we'll talk about transfers incoming. We've signed a young lad on loan from Burnley, who I think is basically his straight-up replacement, a young lad called Michael Mellon. Very well thought of, apparently, at Burnley. He's scored a lot of goals at youth level. It's his first loan spell, so he is a bit of an unknown quantity. But hopefully that works out. And also, obviously, I'm sure you'll notice Cole Stockton was missing last game. He took a little bit of a hamstring tweak against Burton. Had to come off in the second half. I think he's probably going to be back. I'm not 100% sure, but hopefully he is, because it would be a bit of a big ask to throw in young Michael Mellon straight in for a game like this. So it'd be good if we have Stockton back and then we're able to have Watts as the second striker around him.
Yeah, definitely. Shall we actually quickly talk about Cole Stockton and the situation? Because last season he scored all the goals for you. Of course, scored twice at Portman Road in the opening day of last year. of course, there's always going to be, teams looking to sign him, but it didn't happen in the end. 2 goals this year, not as many as I'm sure he wanted to, but he's been in and out of the squad. What's the overall thoughts on him at the moment?
Yeah, I think obviously a lot of us were disappointed with how things went down at the end of the summer, and it's taken a while to get things back on track. I think there has been an element of being unhappy about the situation, but there's also been an element of he was injured for a bit, so getting through all that has taken a while. His form in the last few games has been really, really good. The 2 goals we scored against Accrington, they both came from him just back to his best. Like, people go on about goals with Cole Stockton, and yeah, they're great. But at the end of the day, the reason why we really value him so much is because he just bullies defenders. When he's on it, he bullies defenders. He's able to take balls into him coming from nasty angles. As long as they're into his chest double, he can generally take them in. And you watch them, the 2 goals. He basically takes the ball and he's grappling off an Accrington defender, hits a couple of lovely kind of switch passes across the pitch, and they set us up for the attack that scores. And that's why he's so valuable to us. And against Burton, he was kind of running in behind a bit more, but at the same time, kind of shoving the Burton players out of the way. And obviously, I think probably a few fans of League One have probably all seen the goals we scored against Burton, which are a bit comical. But what made them happen as well was Cole just shoving people and like giving people a horrible time. So yeah, it looks like he's getting a bit of his mojo back. I think I'd be surprised to see him go this January, to be honest. I don't think at the end of the day, we're probably still going to want a decent little fee for him. And I can't see somebody paying that after the half season he's had and the fact that he's out of contract in the summer. But at the end of the day, he is showing some really good form in the last few games, and hopefully this little hamstring injury hasn't disrupted it.
Yeah, we shall wait and see if Cole Stockton arrives back at Portman Road and scores against us. We shall see.
But I know might have a little bit of muscle memory kick in, hopefully.
Yeah, possibly, my friend. Yeah, of course, a long trip for you guys. I'm sure they'll travel down today. I'm sure that the players, of course. Let's talk about then the rest of the squad, because there is some other great players. And Jensen Weir, the man who's been scoring the goals, another loanee from Brighton. And then any other names you want to sort of mention we should look out for? Of course, Connor Ripley did some fighting talk before the game against Town back in October, and of course saved a penalty. But then, of course, Lee Evans then converted the penalty. You said he's been saving a few penalties this year, and of course, he was Player of the Month in November.
Yeah, Lee Evans is actually the only person to score a penalty against Connor Ripley this season. He's faced 5 and he's saved 4 of them. So he's got an 80% save rate, which you compare to the usual scoring rate for penalties is around 78%. So yeah, he's turned that on its head. I mean, we've had Connor on the podcast as well and chatted about this. We were all surprised at the reaction. It was just kind of bog standard. It was really kind of run of the mill stuff that Connor said. He just said we want to be horrible to play against. And it seemed to get a bit of a large reaction, which he was surprised at, and we were all surprised. It's pretty bog standard, kind of smaller club facing a bigger club thing you say. So I don't really know why everybody got up in their grill about it. He didn't insult the club. He just said, well, he wanted to be horrible to play against, which we've got to be at the end of the day. You know, the transfer fees that Ipswich have spent this season are probably around about the same as our total budget. So we can't turn up and knock it about on the tip because we'll lose. So we have to be horrible to play against. And it was a perfectly reasonable comment that Connor said. And again, he's been a fantastic player for us this season. He's built up a really good bond with the fans, and we're really lucky to have him because he's an absolutely brilliant keeper. In terms of the rest of the squad and players to look out for, Jensen Weir, he's phenomenal, brilliant player. Liam Shaw, another midfielder who is just superb. He's on loan from Celtic. I think the loan players we have in this season are really, really fantastic. Shaw and Weir, Kieran Phillips has been amazing. Watts has been really good. So yeah, we're really happy with some of these players, and the players who can make a difference in the final third, make things happen. So yeah, they're definitely ones to watch out for. I think they do give us a lot of hope for this season because they are players that we think hopefully can give us that bit of quality to drive us up the table. And also Adam Mayer, young lad, he's a winger, but he's been playing wing back these last few games. He's just given us a bit more going for. Well, obviously, when you're playing 3-5-2, what can be the issue with that is you can lack width if your wing backs don't get up the pitch enough. And I think we found that at different points in the season. Cooney on the right, he's quite good at getting forwards, but Mayer on the left, he pushes up as well, and that's making defenders that's making defenses have to stretch or leave a player out wide. And if they stretch, there's obviously a few more spaces that pop up in the middle of the pitch for the likes of Shaw and Weir to get forward into. So that's what really making a good difference as well. And he's 18, 19 years old, Mayer. We've managed to get him a long-term contract, so we're feeling really positive about him.
Nice one, nice one. Well, let's talk quickly about the other transfers you've done so far. Of course, you have not been able to see them yet because you haven't had any games, but sort of let us know that two, one's a permanent, one's a loan. Take it away.
Yeah, so obviously we mentioned Michael Mellon before. He's come in for Phillips, and like I say, yeah, we're waiting to see about him, but he's meant to be quite highly rated. The other couple we've had come in, we've had Dinel Simeo come in on loan from Southampton. He was previously on loan at Carlisle last season and Tranmere this season. Usually when you sign a player, you look on Twitter and whatnot, and you see he's crap, you're getting relegated, etc., etc. Not with Simeo. It's he's got rave reviews from Carlisle and Tranmere fans, so that's really positive. He wasn't in the starting lineup against who was it, Cheltenham, we played last, just because we've been in good form, and Derek is very much a manager who is, you've got the shirt, you keep the shirt until you don't deserve it, and then somebody else gets the shot, and that tends to be how he rolls. But I imagine we'll see Simeo come into the side at some point. Not sure if it'll be against Ipswich, but we'll have to see. And then who else have we got? Oh yeah, Dan Crowley. So obviously he's had an interesting career. He was at Cheltenham last season in League One. He's been playing Holland a little bit as well, in the Netherlands with Willem. I think that's how you pronounce it, Willem 2. I'm not too sure. He's played a bit in the Championship with Birmingham. I think he's undoubtedly an incredibly talented player. It's just sometimes it's not maybe being able to tick and go right some clubs. But at the end of the day, Derek is a really good... Derek has this kind of reputation of being this kind of grisly misery ball manager, but he's not. He likes a kind of he likes a good creative player. I kind of broadly split Derek Adams players into two camps, kind of like industrious hard workers who just love getting stuck in, and then kind of magic creative players. And he is in the magic creative mark, and Derek's got quite a good record. Obviously, you got Graham Carey at Plymouth, Adam Phillips over the last few seasons with us. So yeah, and Connor Ripley, we had him on our podcast the other week. He was raving about him in training. So hopefully he's able to make an impact. Not sure he'll be starting against Ipswich, but he may well come off the bench and have a bit of an impact.
Okay, then we shall wait and see then. Well, Joel, it's been a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining me. But how are you feeling going into this game? What's your prediction? What's your overall mood going into this one?
Oh, it's funny because we've been in this really good form, but we haven't tested ourselves in this current run of form. We've not yet been tested in the way that we will be tested against Ipswich away from home as well, where we've struggled all season away from home. I think we struggled to kind of replicate the intensity that we were able to put into home performances. Obviously, Ipswich is just quite a lot better than Cheltenham and Accrington and Burton, so that's a factor. On the flip side, obviously, we've had a couple of weeks off. Will that serve us well? I've literally no idea. You can make up logics for either way. Ipswich not being in the best of form, but again, you can make logic either way. You could say, "Oh, well, not in the best of form, good time to play them," or you could say they're not in the best of form, they need a win, they're going to really come at us. So you just never know. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm rubbish at predictions, but go on. I'll say we'll get a point, 1-1.
Oh, that would be terrible for us, but it'd be great for you, of course, and a great, night out for the Morecambe fans. But we shall see then. Let's see who will come on top this Tuesday night. Well, Joel, thanks for joining me. Any other business, my friend?
No, all good, all good. Just keeping our fingers crossed for 3 points. I mean, it's going to be a tough one, no doubt, but yeah, fingers crossed it goes well.
Indeed, my friend. We shall wait and see. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks to Joel for joining me. If you're going to the game, enjoy it. If you're not, follow the game with us. And bye-bye for now. There you go, my friend. That's all
Nice
I
one.
need.
Yeah, I felt I had to stick up for Connor after